Eala's Manila fan meet sells out Glorietta in minutes.
Wow, guys.
So, 2 hours and fully redeemed tickets. That is the sentence bouncing around Filipino tennis Twitter tonight, 48 hours before a single person has even walked through the door. And it is worth asking out loud whether that sentence is even literally true, because on Wednesday, July 15th, 2026, at the Glorietta Activity Center in Makati City, there are no tickets to sell. Globe Telecom, the company that signed Eala as an ambassador years before she became a household name, has announced the event as free and open to the public. Registration begins at 4 o'clock in the afternoon. The program starts at 6 o'clock, and access details were still being finalized as recently as last week. Nothing is being sold. And yet, the sentence keeps traveling at light speed because everyone reading it understands what it actually means. It means that a 21-year-old who was ranked outside the top 100 just a year ago is about to walk into a shopping mall in her own country, and the entire country is going to arrange itself around her arrival. This is a story about what that viral sentence gets wrong on the surface and what it gets exactly right underneath. 6 days before Wednesday, Alexandra Eala walked off center court at Wimbledon, having become the first Filipina in history to reach the round of 16 of a Grand Slam. She lost that match to Jasmine Paolini of Italy 4-6, 6-4, 3-6, winning the middle set but unable to close out the third. 2 days later, she was on a plane. And on Sunday, July 12th, she landed at Ninoy Aquino International Airport Terminal 3 to a crowd that turned an ordinary arrivals hall into something closer to a stadium. She was greeted personally by the president of the Philippine Olympic Committee, Representative Abraham Bambol Tolentino. That was 3 days ago. Wednesday is the country's turn to fully embrace her. There is a question tennis has been quietly asking about Alex Eala for most of 2026, and it isn't the question you'd expect. It isn't whether she can beat top 10 players. She has now beaten 7 of them. Most recently, the defending Wimbledon champion IGA Swiatek on center court in straight sets, 7-6, 9, 6-2. That question has been answered emphatically. The deeper question tennis is asking is whether one 21-year-old can absorb the weight of an entire country's projections without deforming under it. Because the projection is real, it is heavy, and other players who have carried something similar have spoken about it openly. Ons Jabeur, carrying the hopes of North Africa, has talked about the specific kind of pressure that comes with being the face of a nation, pressure that does not resemble ordinary tennis pressure. The Filipino fanbase has at moments disrupted matches and created logistical challenges for tournament organizers unprepared for the sheer volume. Novak Djokovic, when asked about the crowds trailing Eala at the Australian Open in January, called it a good problem to have. That is a diplomat's phrase, and diplomats reach for those when the honest answer is more complicated. The honest answer is that carrying a country is a gift and a burden in the same motion. And the question underneath Wednesday's fan meet, underneath the viral sentence about Glorietta selling out, is whether Eala can hold both without dropping either. 5 months that changed everything you need to understand about Wednesday is contained in the 5 months of tennis that preceded it. So, let's start there. Start with the Swiatek match. IGA Swiatek was the defending Wimbledon champion and world number 3. Center court, 3rd round, Saturday afternoon in London. Eala won it 7-6, 11-9, in a first-set tiebreak that lasted nearly 90 minutes, then took the second set 6-2 with clinical efficiency. When the match ended, she told ABS-CBN in Tagalog about the surprise design her team had put on her racket bag without telling her. Actually, this was a surprise to me. They made this. They showed it to me. It is a small quote, but it matters. It is the sound of a player who had just beaten the defending champion of a Grand Slam on center court and was, in the same breath, genuinely surprised and touched by something small and personal. That is the emotional register in which she operates, grounded, grateful, still capable of wonder even at the pinnacle. The next round, she lost to Paolini in 3 sets. She left London with the best Grand Slam result of her career, the accompanying prize money, ranking points that pushed her to a career high, and the flight home to a country that had been waiting for her long before she was ever a global headline. Now widen the lens, because London was not an accident. It was the visible crest of a wave that had been building all year. In January, she headlined the inaugural Philippine Women's Open at Rizal Memorial Tennis Center, the first WTA tournament ever hosted on Philippine soil. In February and March, she traveled to Dubai and reached the quarterfinals of the Dubai Tennis Championships. Every single one of her matches sold out, not metaphorically, but literally. When she faced Coco Gauff in that tournament, Gauff, a Grand Slam champion and American star, said afterward, "I've played this tournament for many years, and to see the stadium full, it means a lot." She was not talking about her own draw. She was talking about the electricity Eala brought. Then came Indian Wells in March, where reporters watched several thousand fans stay in the chill until almost midnight for a second-round match. Her practice sessions drew crowds comparable to those for Carlos Alcaraz, Jannik Sinner, and Venus Williams on nearby courts. In Melbourne in January, her first-round loss was assigned to a smaller court, and fans were forced to stand packed against the fencing because the tournament had not anticipated the volume. That is a 5-month pattern. That is what the viral sentence about Glorietta is actually referencing, whether the people sharing it know it or not. A nation and an athlete accelerating together. Consider what has happened to the Philippines' relationship with tennis in the 6 months between January and July 2026. In January, the country hosted its first ever WTA tournament. In July, one of its citizens reached the round of 16 of a Grand Slam for the first time in national history. That is not a normal timeline. That is a country and an athlete accelerating together in a way that does not usually happen in a sport this old and tradition-bound. Which brings us to the third cluster of evidence, and to the reason Wednesday matters more than a simple fan meet should. Because a fan meet is not, on paper, a sporting event. It is a shopping mall appearance. Registration at 4 p.m. Program at 6 p.m. No ticket, no draw, no scoreline. And yet Ayala Avenue on Wednesday evening is going to look and feel like something else entirely. The reason is not clever marketing. The reason was named on the record by Filipino sports journalist TJ Manitok. The country has been hungry for the next Manny Pacquiao. When he was at his peak, life stopped. When there was a fight, nothing was on the road. Everyone was watching. That is the frame. The country has been waiting, not since Wimbledon, not since Dubai, not since Miami last year when she made her first big splash. It has been waiting for years. And it has now decided, collectively and without a formal vote, that the wait is over. That is what Wednesday is. It is not the fans finding out about Eala. It is Eala finding out, in her own country, and in a shopping mall a few kilometers from where she grew up, what the country has already quietly agreed she represents. The peer chorus around her has been saying versions of this for months. Novak Djokovic called the crowds a good problem. Andy Roddick on his podcast Serve said this is the type of story you cheer for because it's great for tennis. A BNP Paribas Open executive told Front Office Sports, "We love every minute of it. We benefit from it. We promote it." Coco Gauff spoke about full stadiums. Catherine, Princess of Wales, was among those who publicly reacted to the Swiatek win at Wimbledon, alongside Billie Jean King, Venus Williams, and Maria Sharapova, Eala's childhood idol. That is a room. That is the room a 21-year-old from Manila is now standing in. Whether or not that room has fully processed her yet, the room has at minimum turned its head. The stakes beyond one evening zoom out one more time, because the stakes on Wednesday are not really about Wednesday. 12 days after the Glorietta fan meet, on July 27th, Eala steps onto a hard court at the Mubadala City DC Open in Washington, a WTA 500 tournament, and her return to competition. After that comes the Canadian Open, Cincinnati, and then the US Open in Flushing Meadows from August 30th through September 13th, the final Grand Slam of the year. She has earned substantial prize money in the 2026 season, including the payout from her Wimbledon run, and holds a world ranking in the high 20s to low 30s, depending on the exact update day. But those are numbers, and numbers are not what Wednesday is for. Wednesday is for something that does not appear on the WTA website. Wednesday is the country telling her in person what her country has decided she means, so that when she walks onto the hard court in Washington 12 days later, she is not walking on alone. She is walking on with a mandate. That mandate did not exist 12 months ago. In 6 months it has been built, ratified, and delivered, first through a Manila stadium in January, then through Dubai sellouts in February, Indian Wells crowds in March, Berlin, Wimbledon, and now in the most domestic possible setting, a mall a few kilometers from where she grew up, on Wednesday at 6 o'clock in the evening. And still, she is coming home not undefeated. The Paolini match was 3 sets. Eala won the middle one, and then could not hold the third, 4-6, 6-4, 3-6. That is a real loss, 6 days old, and the last competitive match she has played. She has not spoken publicly at any length about how it felt, and this narrative will not invent a quote for her. What can be said factually is that the plane ticket home was booked before that loss, and she was coming home either way. She simply did not know when she booked the ticket whether she would be arriving as a 4th-round Grand Slam player or as something more. She arrived as the former, and the country came to the airport anyway, and will come to the mall on Wednesday anyway because the country was never actually waiting for her to win a Grand Slam. It was waiting for her to come home. So, back to the sentence at the top. Eala's Manila fan meet sells out Glorietta in minutes. It is not strictly speaking true. Nothing is being sold. There is no clock ticking down on a Ticketmaster page. There is a mall activity center in Makati and a registration table opening at 4 p.m. and a program starting at 6 p.m. and a 21-year-old who will walk in through some door somewhere with a security detail and a set of prepared remarks she will probably deviate from in the moment. Nothing was sold, and everything was already gone. That is the accurate version. 48 hours ago, the question was whether Manila would come. On Wednesday evening, it will have already answered. And the answer was decided a long time before Wimbledon, decided during the Miami run last year, during the Dubai sellouts this spring, and during a late night at Stadium 3 in Indian Wells when several thousand people refused to leave. The scoreline they will know by heart before she reaches the microphone is 7-6, 11-9, 6-2. The name they will chant is a name that used to belong only to a family in Manila and now belongs to a country. She belongs to Center Court. She belongs to Glorietta. She belongs to both at once. And Wednesday is the day both facts occupy the same room. The weeks that follow, DC on July 27th, the full hardcourt swing, and the US Open in late August will test the depth of this moment. But whatever the next chapter brings, it begins in a mall in Makati on Wednesday at 6 p.m. It does not require a ticket, and it was never going to.